Hey kids, do you like wrestling? Well, we like wrestling too. We are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Myself and Chris Novembrino kind of doing a lazy river of wrestling criticism, going through the news and whatever happened in stateside television wrestling. And also, you know what? Sometimes we just like to watch old stuff and talk about that too. Love for you to give us a listen. If you haven't already, we are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, I'm joined by Damon McDonald. It is Wednesday the 9th of October 2024. This is episode 331. What food are you getting, Damon?
I'm getting delicious chicken wings via request from the missus, who did not feel like making anything or having any type of responsibility when it comes to dinner. And plus, I'm doing this show and tonight is game one of the Maple Leafs season. So, needless to say, I will be dialed in to the game and eating wings and maybe grabbing my wife's breasts or both. Just saying.
Where are the wings coming from? Anywhere? Like, is this a chain restaurant or a local place?
Yep, it's a local place. It is. So when I would go to lunch and maybe have a beverage or a dozen during lunch, it is a place called Dominic's, and the wings are good. They're not. They don't skimp. They're not like these fucking shitty size of your thumb wings. These are decent, meaty, fucking good, and the sauce is really good too. So we did a little Dominic's, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this young lady, she's rather cute. Oh, look at her. Wowzers. Look at that. I wish I could quickly take a picture. Joel, this girl is really unbelievable. Like, seriously, what the fuck? She's gorgeous delivering. Like, I'm not talking like, she's cute. She's got a nice... This girl is stunning, who just delivered my food and left it on my front steps. Holy moly.
Oh, it's here now?
It literally just showed up, yes.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Is this going to be sitting there getting cold while
No,
you're
it's not.
No, it's not. Podcast with me?
Give me 2 seconds, right? I'm going to run out, grab it, put it in the kitchen. We're more than good. I don't think it'll take me more than 1 American minute to make this. I cannot get over it. Joel, I swear to God, I wish I snapped a picture. She was truly an unbelievable, not pretty, not stunning. Stunning. Why is she delivering food? She could be, I'm telling you flat out, she could be a model. She was unbelievable. I think the girl of my dream just delivered my food. What do you think of that? That's crazy,
wow.
Isn't it? Yeah. She was gorgeous. Brunette. Like she had a little she had stuff going on. She had stuff at the top, she had stuff on the bottom. Wow. That was crazy. That was crazy. That is definitely the best food delivery person I've ever seen. Usually they're just fucking mutants. This one. Whew. I guarantee you she does like modeling or something to profit. I hope she has an OnlyFans. I'm looking. I swear. I don't know how do I look at. I bet she has an OnlyFans. Huh? I bet she does. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. I'm not one to pay for my pornography. I hate to be that guy. You pay, don't you? You get the. Oh, I don't want to dime you out. You do not pay for anything. You don't even know what pornography is. Sorry.
No, I think we have had this conversation before. It depends on how my funds situation. At the moment, I've got fuck all money, so no, that's an expense I can't afford.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about the OnlyFans?
Ask away.
All right, just want to make sure. So, do you pay a flat fee, and then do you pay on top of that to have them do things on cam? Is that the thing?
It depends on the content creator. Mm-hmm. I don't talk. I don't want to talk to people. I just for a few bucks if I think there's good content. Think well done. There you go.
Yeah,
keep it up.
Yep, keep up that vagina. It's top notch. All right. Now, can I ask this? Not that you would know, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Is there a male equivalent to OnlyFans, or is it just on the same platform?
I think men can use it as well.
Okay. So,
we're going to set one up.
Well, here's my point. Would a young lady? I don't think a young lady would have a need for an OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like if a young lady decided she was like, all right, I need to get some action. She could just go on fucking, what is the apps? I don't even know. Tinder? Yes. And, just make that happen for herself, right? Don't you think? Like, I don't think they would need to have an OnlyFans. I think OnlyFans is definitely a guy thing, right?
Yeah, I suspect if I saw the data, it will be heavily skewed towards female content creators.
Right. I would think so. Just the nature of it. Yeah, I would think so. Have I mentioned that I love... Never mind. All right. So if you want to set it up, I'll stay here, and then I'll just go out in my porch and grab the food. So if you want to... Where are we going first?
Okay, so I suppose I should do some sort of off-topic question that I can talk about at length so you can go and get your food.
Well, again, all right. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute.
I'll do that. Let me scroll through because we've got a big backlog of questions from months/years ago. So I'm going to pick out one that interests me that I can talk about for a while. Okay. Is
Hiroshi Tanahashi a future star of New Japan Pro Wrestling?
What do you think of this new young lion, Shinsuke Nakamura? I think he's got plenty of upside.
Akira Maeda, yes or no?
Right. Well, here's one that would have been appropriate several weeks ago. Steel O'Neill says, have you guys fallen down any strange internet holes recently? I spent the weekend watching these football cliche compilations. So we did that. But I found another one, right, which I really like. And I will start talking about that while you go and get your food. Is that
right,
what
ready?
we're doing?
1, 2, 3, go.
Go, run. So this is an account of someone who uses one of the Pro Evolution Soccer games. Like, I don't even know which one it is. It's like Pro Evo 2021 or something, and they recreate old episodes of Match of the Day from the 90s. So this person had just picked like a random episode of Match of the Day from, I think it was like 1997 or something, with Arsenal playing Man United at Highbury, and just recreated the players and the kits and the starting lineups and everything really authentically, like as it was then, and sort of reenacted the match. Now, I don't think the match was like the actual events of the match were recreated to any degree of reliability. I mean, I think if I remember correctly, I think the score was correct, but the players who scored the goals were different in like wrong order and that. But I just thought it was a very interesting thing to do, to go to the effort of just recreating that little moment in time, like 1997 Premier League. I guess that would have been the Premiership. Maybe it would have been called the Premiership then, and recreating all those players and doing their own commentary on top of it. And yeah, I just watched a few of those, and I can't find what it's got. I'm going to look it up now because I think it does deserve a shout out, because just the amount of effort that went into it. So let's have a look here. Pro Evolution. So
what is this now? Give me a just a quick, too long, when to get my food version.
So this is a YouTube channel I found with a person who's used a football game to recreate matches from the mid-90s.
And how are they
Okay,
simulating
I found it. It's called Trevor Sports. So the account is called Trevor Sports.
Right there.
And they've recreated from the 1996-97 season Arsenal versus Manchester United from FA Carling Premiership Match of the Day, BBC One, by using the ISS Pro Evolution Soccer 97 patch that brings to life what modern day ISS Pro 97, so Winning 11 97, would look like using eFootball PES 2021. So they're using eFootball PES 2021 with a patch to recreate games from 1997.
Yeah. Euro 96, I see. He does a lot. He does a lot of Olympic stuff.
Yep.
Swimming, right? Now I'm going to be all in on this. Yeah. Grand Prix, or as we say in the United States, Grand Prix. Grand Prix. Okay. I like this. This is right up my fucking alley. Love it. Okay. I am now subscribing. Subscribed. There you go, Trevor. You big twat. I got you. Subscribed. Nice. I like that. What else? What else you got?
We have got, here's one it's a very old question from the Discord from TaylorMade. He says, how do you deal with IWC/Discord toxicity? Do you, Joel, pay any attention to it? And it's been a journey for me. I think when we first started the podcast, I think no amount of people giving you advice can prepare you for the reality that whatever you do and however well you do it, there's always going to be people who hate your guts. Sometimes for valid reasons, sometimes for bullshit reasons. And it's hard not to take that personally at first, because you want everyone to say, hey, you're doing an amazing job. And even if you get like 99 people saying that and one person saying you're shit, then guess which one you're going to be remembering and thinking about nonstop.
Let me guess.
So, I would say, I mean, anyone who's listened to the podcast for this length of time would know, the fucking rants I would go on about people getting annoyed with me for praising Will Ospreay, whereas now I wouldn't really give a shit about that. So I would say I've learned to tune it out and get my own perverse pleasure and fun out of it, of deliberately rattling the cages of the more deranged parts of the fan base. So I'll often do that on purpose just to annoy people and have a bit of a laugh out of that and mute the tweets and never look or think about them again. So I suppose that's just...
You're a better man than me.
How my brain has been poisoned by the use of social media over the last, how many years have we been doing this?
I looked at it. This is 380 something, right? 381 show?
331.
31. Okay. Yeah. I was kind of getting a little ahead of myself. But even so, so we do one a week, right? If we just do the math, we've been doing this for 100 years, right? That's what I come up with. Do you think that has distorted your views of people in general for the worse or for the better?
For the better. I mean, I think I can compartmentalize the two things. All the face-to-face interactions I've had with people have been lovely, obviously, but then those are people who like me, who want to come and talk to me. Right. And I think everyone accepts that social media, particularly Twitter, is just an absolute cesspit. So I think there is a very particular way of approaching it, which is to not engage with any criticism whatsoever, and just to do everything at arm's length and try not to take anything personally. In terms of Discord toxicity, we don't deal with that shit. We've got a very excellent team of moderators on the Discord, and any whiff of that and people get kicked out, which is why I like the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's fucking based around our dumb show. Like, if you want to join a fucking somebody else's New Japan Discord, by all means, and fucking do whatever you got to do. Like, that's the one thing I had a problem with. Like, if you're going to fucking bury us on our own fucking Discord, what are you doing? What? And people would get upset. Why you banned him? I was like, oh, it's my fucking place. It's like kicking you out of my house. You know what I mean? Just because you're here, you're an asshole. Get the fuck out. Yeah, I one of the rules for us doing this was you got to take care of that, because I am not equipped for that, because I do take everything to heart, and I do I want to destroy like, I want to physically bite the forehead of anyone who says anything bad. But I have.
But we've grown up. Like, our reputation, I think, in terms of, well, it depends what you're getting annoyed about. If it's people who just don't like us and don't like the way we do the podcast, like, fine, I can't really engage with that. That's, you know, right. Cool. You don't like it, don't listen. Like, absolutely fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. There, with people who, you know, when we would put stuff out there, be like, oh, they're just making shit up. You know, who are these guys? They've got no reputation. But that's gone now. Now our reputation is unimpeachable. When we say stuff, it's gospel. So we've won that battle. We're the winners there. So we're standing on the corpses of our enemies there. And then you occasionally get like the sort of beefs that will flare up, like the whole stuff with the aggregators. Mm-hmm. Was that around last Christmas? But yeah. I was so right about that I can't, I can't get offended about that, because I know I'm correct. So, right. Yeah, it's not something I can get upset about when I know I'm on the right side of history.
Right. I mean, I don't know how anybody could be upset with us, like, in that whole thing. Like it's our stuff. We arranged it. We built that relationship. We did it. You know what I mean? And then somebody just kind of transcribing it, like, that is the biggest dickhole thing I could think of. Like, you just, I don't know, and like, you could sit there and say, well, that's, everybody does it. Well, fuck everyone. How about that? How about everyone eat a dick? That bothered me a lot. Like that, and it wasn't even, it didn't even get to the point where it was the fact that it happened. It was the fact that people found some wacky thing to back that, to be on that side. Like, it's just like preposterous. And I will say this, that it feels like the anonymity of Twitter helps provide an outlet for people to just unleash fury. Like their Twitter handle is anime character 7237. And like, they're just going to fucking shit on anything and everyone. And like, those people aren't real. Like, I can't take that as reality. Like, I feel like Twitter is its own fucking dumb universe where it's even opinions that I might agree with. You're just like, ugh, shut the fuck up. And then people that maybe I don't agree with, it's that plus 10. Is that why we don't post anything anymore? Because I don't care either way, but like
it's just, I don't know.
We don't post anything.
I very rarely do. Sometimes I will, but I don't get anything from it. Right. I don't know.
And
sometimes
even at
there's
our height,
interesting conversations to be have. I'm not as terminally online as I used to be. I'm busy. That's the thing. I don't really have a lot of free time to be fucking around on Twitter, because I wake up, go to work. When work's finished, then I'm putting the daddy hat on, and I'll get very little time to myself. So maybe it's just the amount of free time I had is withered away to the point at which I don't see that as a worthwhile value proposition.
Yeah. And I got to be honest with you, I don't care what anybody else thinks about wrestling. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Like, yeah. Like, when people text me about wrestling, they go instantly on ignore. Or just fucking, I don't. You know what I mean? Like I do this for 2 hours
God,
a week.
Like people texting me saying, "Oh, have you seen the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix?"
Don't text me that.
No,
Right.
I'd rather play in traffic.
Exactly. I would rather come down with a very rare disease that would affect my limbs than have this conversation. Because again, like I do that with you. Like this is the time that I dedicate and I put on my pro wrestling hat and boom, here it is. These are my opinions. Then to go and tweet it out, like I feel like what's the point? And I will say this as well. And you correct me if I'm wrong. We have seen zero residual value from any of our tweets. In fact, we probably have seen, like when you send out something like that is, okay, this is like, let's do it. When we send out the Jay White stuff, or when we send out the Okada stuff.
You mean when we broke the news of Tetsuya Okada going to AEW, the biggest story in New Japan over the last 20 years or something?
Yeah, I think so. When we broke that, yeah.
Did we get any flowers for that?
No. Not once have I ever seen, and me, again, correct me if I'm wrong, because you get tagged when it happens. Has anyone been like, you know what? Fucking Super J-Cast was right all along. And I was wrong.
Should we do it? Should we just take a moment to have a massive circle jerk over our entire coverage of the Okada situation?
Holy shit.
From the moment you threw it out there saying, hey, you know what? I wouldn't be stunned if this guy packs it in and goes over to the States. And me going, you're mental.
Yep.
You were right? You were the first person to verbalize that thought, to have that thought. You turned out to be correct. Us having the contacts to actually realize that was happening.
Yep.
And get that information out there. And also, what was our narrative when he left? Like, this guy does not want to work with a young talent. He's, taking his ball and going home. Whether or not you agree with that, fine. But that's what happened. And then everyone's like, oh, no, that's bullshit. He's been consummate professional.
His wife is in Japan. His wife is more famous than him.
What is the dominant discourse on Okada now? What are the AEW coverage saying? This guy's phoning it in. This guy doesn't want a job to Hangman Page. He doesn't want a job to Takeshita. These programs they're setting up for him are mysteriously disappearing. He just wants to fuck around with the Young Bucks and do comedy and sleepwalk his way through matches. If only someone had pointed out that trend about a year ago.
Wow. How about it? And it is amazing. You know what being that we're fucking jerking each other off. What was amazing is, so I threw it out there just as if I'm him, why wouldn't I not explore other things, seeing what other people make? And
years ago, Damon, we were watching those documentaries they were producing about him in the G1 in the fucking ice bath and doing his training with the oxygen restricting mask on and him struggling to get out of bed in the morning thinking, this doesn't look sustainable.
Yep. Yeah. And then the best part about that was, so after we started just kind of throwing it out there, just discussing stuff like you would do at your pub or bar or whatever, then the messages started coming from people that we would not have expected we would get messages from, right? And it was like, whoa, okay, so let's dig a little deeper. Let's use our journalism training to dig a little deeper. And lo and behold, where there is smoke, there is fire. And we were always kind of, like we always had, I can't say we always had, but we for a long time, we had really solid people giving us solid information. You know what I mean? And sometimes you try to vet that, but there were other scenarios where we were like, I'll just say it. When we were in Japan, like we were just like, we had people coming up to us and we were like, oh, yeah, okay. And we just maintained those relationships. And then that grew. And then that grew. And then that grew. Where we have people in direct messaging you saying, how the fuck did you know this? That is my favorite thing in the world, is when a person who works in the company sends us a message saying, okay, how the fuck did you know that? And I get it. I get the idea of people, because here's the thing too. I see it everywhere. I see it in hockey. I see it in other sports where people just love to discredit people who might have information that is valid. Like, we are in a world of let's discredit everything. And, a lot of times they're proved wrong. It is amazing the ride that we've been on. I mean, I sit here and the people that we've met and the people that we talk to, and my favorite thing actually is waking up, because again, Joel is about 6 hours ahead of me in beautiful Devon, England, which I have Googled a lot and watched the videos. Oh, so beautiful. Anywho, I will wake up and I will check my phone. First thing I do is I pee, I urinate, I drain my bladder of salty urine, and then, very descriptive, and then I check my phone. And I will have, some days there will be 1 or 2 messages. Other days there will be 172. And it's just great, because a lot of times what Joel will do is he'll give me the too long didn't read version, because he knows I can't do 100 messages. It's just not going to happen. And he'll just give me the as we say, the meat and the potatoes, the twig and berries, if you will. And I just giggle at some of the screenshots he gives me of people getting a hold of Joel and just being flabbergasted at the things that we might be privy to. That is maybe my favorite thing. That is the thing that keeps me going. Truth be told, it is that.
And often things where we'll sort of tease stuff or play around with it.
Yeah.
And a large part of me is thinking, this can't possibly be true. And then we're getting DMs and be like, oh, it was completely true. Right. People would have been better off keeping their mouths shut.
Right. It is unbelievable that when that happens. That is my favorite thing. No, like, I swear to you, that gives me joy to go on in the day. It is pretty funny. So if you're listening, keep them coming. We love them. We'll never. And here's the thing too. We don't. How do I say this? Like, I believe we are respectful of the people who do that. And we do say, hey, listen, if you feel that we are, and it's not a grandstandy thing. It's not a, we're going to hide things from our listeners, because, we don't give a fuck. And I don't think we say anything that's out of line, to be truthful. And we give them the option. We give them the option. Hey, if you feel this is out of line, we'll never utter a word of it again. And some people might take us up on it. A lot of them don't. But again, I find that, like, I always I'm like, who's going to hit us up next? You know what I mean? Like, who's like, and some of the names I'm not just saying this just to be, let's just throw something out there and be vague and, kind of make ourselves feel more important than we are.
Do the eyeball emoji.
Right. Joel, if we sat there and said, these are the people that have contacted us, I think people's heads would spin. Would you agree?
It made my head spin.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of stuff. And I'm there brushing my teeth thinking, I've not checked Twitter in a few days. Oh, I've got a DM here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's happened.
Right. So, again, I feel like this show in particular has been one of the greatest joys. And also, again, some of the biggest headaches. There are times when we put it, like, we have stuff. And this is before we had the Discord and the fucking deli and all that stuff, where we would put it out on Twitter, thinking that, all right, this might help us. This might, get our name out there. And here's what it has done. It has gotten us a lot of, maybe not friendships, I would say, but enough people know who we are that when we say something, it's treated as, okay, these guys are legit. That is all I can ask for. Like, again, you could say whatever the fuck you want to say about Dave Meltzer. Whatever your feelings are of Dave Meltzer. The truth of the matter is that at least in my time, he has been a person that I can honestly say has had a ton of contacts within pro wrestling. Now, whether the things that he said have been 100% true and not true, I think, again, you could give odds of 40%, 50%, whatever the case may be. But when Dave kind of knows when we say something, it's gospel. When Brian Alvarez hears our name, he knows who we are. When
I'll give you an example, Damon. It's got to the point where, like, do you remember I talked to you about that image that Rush tweeted out of him and Naito saying, Naito and Rush, World Tag League. Yes. And I just tweeted that out in jest, being like, can you fucking imagine these two being in World Tag League? What a preposterous thought. And then I saw someone on Reddit saying something like, oh, well, Super J-Cast made some sort of comment about it. So I don't know if they're sort of hinting that it's going to happen. So now me just fucking around on Twitter, just laughing at something. People are like, oh, there might be some truth in this.
Yeah. The fucking fire gets lit. I know. But now let me ask you this. Does that curtail your goofiness? Like if it's just a fucking shit post, do you have that in the back of your mind? Like, people might take this fucking seriously.
I think my days of
caring,
hinting at stuff on Twitter are gone. If I know something and I'm allowed in any way, to reveal it, it's going in the deli.
Yeah. Which I think honestly was the smartest thing we've ever done, because I think that takes a lot of the stress out of fucking, Jameer in fucking Bangladesh giving us shit like we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it just eliminates that nonsense that we don't have to put up with. Now we just have to put up with fucking, Frazier, right? and those dopes in Discord. So
that's Discord Fraser. We're looking at you.
Yes. To be very clear, the other Fraser's one of my favorite people in fucking God's green earth. I miss dearly. I miss dearly. You know what I wish? I wish he would come to the States. Why do we always got to go over there? Why can't he come here?
Why isn't he flying over for Royal Quest, huh?
Ooh, come on, Moneybags. Let's go.
It's not worth it. It's not.
It's really not worth it. Well, not for a wrestling show. Just go for fucking, have a
lovely cream tea in Devon.
Now you're talking. Oh, that'd be so nice. And I am looking forward to lots and lots of curries. I'm looking forward to lots and lots of pubs. I'm looking forward to lots and lots of all of it, and lots and lots of Oasis. Jesus and Mary Chain, saw them twice since we last talked. Saw them in Philly, saw them in Washington, D.C. last weekend. Oh, they're so good. I love them so much. And you know who else? If I say the band Psychedelic Furs, are you familiar with Psychedelic Furs?
I'm not familiar with Psychedelic Furs.
All right. Are you familiar with the song Pretty in Pink?
Can you hum it to me? Sing the chorus.
Isn't she pretty in pink?
Yes.
Isn't she? Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. They also do Heartbreak Beat. There's a heartbreak beat beating all night long down on my street, and it feels like I've got the rain. No, maybe my version's not good. They were good. They were surprisingly good. They sounded solid. Richard Butler with the vocals. 70 years old, sounding like he was 21. So good for him. All right. We've covered a lot here in 30 minutes. Any other questions? I like doing the backlog of questions first.
We've got so many. No, I'm
Please,
not
give
doing
me
anymore because it is. No, it's 9:43. I want to talk about wrestling
I know.
so I can go to bed at a reasonable hour.
I understand.
Right, just little tidbit here, which I thought was quite interesting. So the Noge Dojo received special coaching and even some heated sparring thanks to Josh Barnett. So Josh Barnett said, "I want to make this something that combines the past with the new, a spark that can grow into a fire, and not just the young but veteran wrestlers." As well, a new Gotch dojo. Should we be scared about this new involvement with Josh Barnett and the dojo?
I mean, listen, people like to lose money in many different ways. Right? I don't know what he's thinking. Here's the thing. I mean, that's his thing. He does pretty well in those blood sport shows, I would think, right? They always sell out WrestleMania weekend, but it's not like they run consistently that I am aware of. I mean, he's a guy who just kind of like is looking for his role in this crazy world. You know what I mean? Like if you get a taste of it and you're there and you're in it and you kind of want to keep that momentum going. I think it's all pro wrestlers, both plus and minus, right? No, there's nothing to be even remotely concerned with. Only because I feel like he's doing it so that he can find a way to do maybe if he does 3 blood sport shows, maybe do 10, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, he's just trying to make his way in this crazy fucking world. Do I want to buy a ticket? On the surface, probably not. But if he finds a way to find people that I like, and would enjoy seeing in that environment. I'm
talking more about his potential influence on the current crop of young lions, because I do think there is value there, but there's got to be a filter.
Yes. Oh, yes. No. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with any young pro wrestler learning from someone who's been there and done that, especially in that ring, and kind of has an idea of maybe what New Japan Pro Wrestling looks for, especially in a young person who's kind of making their way in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So no, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's just another avenue. Now, again, I guess the biggest question might be, okay, so how far in the weeds does he get with our guys? Because if we have our dojo in New Japan, we have Strong, which technically is some sort of training ground. Do we need a third? Oh, I don't know. But
I don't even know if the LA dojo is a thing anymore. Maybe you can go and
that's what I'm saying. Why don't you just kind of go in there? Yeah. And I don't know if he then fills that void that the Strong LA dojo did. Don't know. Here's the thing. I don't have any problem with any young wrestler kind of learning from people who've been there. No problem. I don't think it's going to be, truth be told, I don't think it influences New Japan Pro Wrestling one way or the other. I think this is all about Josh kind of finding something to do in pro wrestling, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's good, but I don't think it moves the needle for New Japan, personally.
All right, let's get into this show that happened on a day that I forgot. It was the Blue Justice 14 Wrestling Live 40th Anniversary Yuji Nagata producer. This was October 6th, Sunday in Chiba. So and I'm not going to go through this in huge detail because a lot of this was just setting up King Pro Wrestling, but I did think there were some interesting takeaways from this. So the opening match was Oleg Boltin, Katsuya Murashima, and Daiki Nagai against Masatori Yasuda, Sho Makato, and Toru Yano. And this one, I think, is notable not for the match itself, but after the match. And I don't know if you've seen the promo from Daiki Nagai. And typically we'd expect the young lions to say the same thing, basically. Very humble. I tried my best. I'm going to get better. And I won't give up, blah, blah, blah. But Daiki Nagai just started just talking loads of shit, mad shit about all the other young lions. He's been saying like Sho Makato has got hair like a rich woman's poodle or something like that. Saying he's basically all the other young lions are shit and he's the best, which is very interesting because I don't think I ever recall a young lion talking shit like that before. And he's got a little fuckface shit mouth. He looks like, if you sort of tune into a European football game, like a Champions League game or something, and there'd be a really annoying player on the other team who's like constantly fouling and diving, play acting, wasting time, moaning to the ref, you'd be like, he's a little cunt. That is Daiki Nagai, right? He's a little cunt. And I love him already. So I'm investing a lot of stonks already in Daiki Nagai. So if you've not seen it, do try and check out that promo after this, because we're cooking something here.
Yeah, he was a bit of a twat, as we would like to say. And especially for like, it felt like there really wasn't a opening match per se. Like, I guess this one by default is just with the people that are in it. I don't know. Do you think that in that position he gets a talking to for a promo like that, or do you think they just fucking hand wave it and nobody even listened to it?
I hope they just let him run with it.
Yeah, me too. It does feel like that there was probably a little side eye action going on. But yeah, I think we all saw that and circled him.
Yellow's going to come like wading over Bay. What the fuck did you just say?
Right. Seriously. I wonder if there is that conversation. Again, you're in the first fucking match. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say you're a nobody in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but we're not really. It's not like this is fucking David Finlay going off at a tangent. I found it very interesting. One, that, again, they don't seem to have any hesitation of putting stuff up with a filter. I just wonder if there was my first thought was, I wonder if there was a conversation. It felt so out of place that it was kind of awesome. You know what I mean?
And also a lot of quote tweets from Japanese fans on Twitter from that video being like, "Oh, this young man is very disrespectful." So I'm rubbing my hands together like, yes, here we go.
Yeah, I need more of that. That your takeaway is my takeaway, because I'm right there with you. And again, I thought like, ooh, they're giving this guy a lot of rope here. So yeah, we'll see. Let's put it this way. I might be interested in another match, seeing him on a card or two. You know what I mean? Like I might like to see.
No, every time I see a match with him, I'm not going to be skipping it. I'm going to be like, no, I'm watching, and I'm going to be watching the backstage comments because I want to see what shitmouth comes out with next. And
I'm hoping that it's him against like a fucking Tenzan, or a guy who might be a little set in his ways, right? And might have a couple chops coming his way.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep a close eye to look for any receipts.
Yes, that is correct. All right.
Okay, second match, we had Taiji Ishimori, Caveman Ugg, and Bad Luck Fale defeating the team of Hartley Jackson, Shane Haston, Mikey Nichols. So this was the debut for Caveman Ugg. I'm really pleased to see him in New Japan because I think he's a great talent, and I think he's got the look, the gimmick, the aura that I think will go down well with domestic New Japan audience. And he had some really nice sequences with Hartley Jackson. We had a comment here from Baldy in the Discord who says, just want to say what a class act Hartley Jackson is. He gave a lot to Caveman Ugg in his debut match. And yeah, I noticed that as well. So Hartley Jackson, he's come in. He's not a guy who is going to be winning the IWGP title. He's a guy who, I believe he lives in Japan. So he can just sort of fill in for tours and matches as and when needed. Now he's affiliated with TMDK. And he's experienced, he's professional. He'll come in and do what needs to be done and make the guys who need to look good. So that's a nice pickup there. And yeah, Caveman Ugg, I think there's a lot of upside there. And we'll talk more about him when it comes to previewing King of Pro Wrestling. But I just hope there's a lot of upside there. And I hope he stays as far away from Bad Luck Fale as possible. And it makes me depressed that Fale is still getting a paycheck from New Japan. But we know the loyalty runs deep with them. But we know how utterly fraudulent the Fale Dojo is. We've heard the testimonials, and the fact that they have managed to bring over 0 graduated young lions from their system, they may as well be having flashing lights saying this is an abusive Ponzi scheme for all the good that is done. So I hope UG manages to distance himself from that, because I think what I find really encouraging in recent years is the way that there seems to be like this little sphere of Australian or Oceania wrestling emerging and flourishing in New Japan that is outside of the Bad Luck Fale corrupt tendrils, if you see what I'm saying. So I hope Caveman UG is basically spending more time with the TMDK guys and less time with Bad Luck Fale, because I think that seems to be the way you're going to get into the company and actually have a chance at being successful and having a future through that avenue rather than the Bad Luck Fale Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. I just vividly in my mind was like, I hope that he used his credit card miles to get there, and New Japan did not shell out a dime. Because I think of all the people that we talk about on this show, like why isn't this guy get a shot? Why hasn't that guy got a shot? Why didn't they bring this guy back? Why? And yet here's Bad Luck Fale, who's at best 3 to 5 years past his I wouldn't even say prime, but like serviceable. I don't know. Like I said, I hope and pray that New Japan Pro Wrestling didn't shell out a dime to bring him in. But I mean, I think we all assume he'll be a participant in World Tag League, right? Can't wait for that. Hartley Jackson, I thought was fine. I don't know. Did you feel like this was like a test run or a evaluation, a test match with him?
It felt like the mission statement for this match was for TMDK and to a large extent Hartley Jackson saying, let's make Caveman UG look good.
Right. I would like to. I tell you what, I have no problem with the Caveman UG. Truth be told, it's not my favorite name, but okay, Caveman UG. I got no problem with him. Hartley Jackson, I liked. I really did. And to me, here's the problem. If this was a tryout, let's see what you got, how can you work with these guys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I thought he did well, right? I had zero problem. I just
tryout for who? You mean for UG?
I mean a tryout for New Japan Pro Wrestling, right? To be more of a mainstay there. Yeah, that's what I meant. Hartley. Did you get
I'm
that
seeing
feeling?
it more as a tryout or an easing in for Caveman UG, because I think Hartley Jackson, he's a veteran. He's been doing this donkey's years. He's trained loads of guys.
No doubt.
I don't think he is the guy who has the bright future with New Japan. I hope he does. I'd love to stick around because I think there's a tremendous value, mainly behind the scenes, that someone like Hartley Jackson could have working with the company. But in ring, I'm looking at Caveman UG as the guy to think, we could be doing something here. Looking at the history of the company with pushing people like Fale, like Jonah when he had his little run, I don't see any reason why UG shouldn't be the next guy to hopefully get a bit of buzz, get a bit of shine in the company. So I'm looking at him more than Hartley Jackson.
See, I was kind of the other way in the sense that I feel like UG's already got an in, right? And I think World Tag League will help solidify that. Whereas Hartley, it didn't feel like it wasn't like he was given a million minutes to shine, but
no, he's not there to get himself over.
Correct. Right. So, but I don't know, like I promise you, I felt like after this match, I was like, okay, well, if he's already there and he's already a part of the pro wrestling scene, like there's got to be a use for him, don't you think? And even if it's just, hey, you know what? I'm a liaison between Westerners and here, and I can help them get acclimated. I don't know. It just felt like he was. I don't want to say the glue to this match by any stretch of the imagination. I can't believe we're spending more than 5 minutes on this, but like it felt like this was kind of like a thing, a platform for him. And again, this the main focus of the match was UG, right? To get him into the groove, because we're going to bring him.
It was his debut, and he is challenging for the tag titles this weekend.
Right. But like, I just feel like they have a little something there. Again, he's not a guy that you're going to build a fucking company around. I don't know. I just felt like he would be like a real decent, solid hand. Maybe I'm just stretching, but like he already has that affiliation with TMDK. Why not? Like, just have him just be a little bit more in the mix, because I think he has. I don't want to say he has more to give than UG, but I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that there is some value there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be front facing. I don't know. I just thought I was really impressed. And truth be told, it's not like I have a fucking DVD of Hartley Jackson's best of, but I don't know. I felt like this is a guy that somebody could do something with a little bit more, preferably New Japan Pro Wrestling. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's
I agree. If they're smart, they'll keep him around and keep him close, and there is value to be extracted. And I don't necessarily think it's value in pushing him as, you know, the dominant wrestler in the kayfabe sense. But yeah, I think we're on the same page there. Let's move on, because you spent longer talking about this match than the match actually lasted. Right. The third match was Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sho defeating Takamichi and Doki. Oh no, there's one thing I forgot to say about the previous match. Ishimori said backstage he's bringing in a partner for Super Junior Tag League, and him and Ninja Mac have been sort of liking and following each other and retweeting each other's shit on Twitter. So I think it could be Ninja Mac. So just throwing that out there as a possible partner for Super Junior Tag League. Anyway, third match, Kanemaru and Sho defeating Takamichi and Doki. Only takeaway from this is that I was watching the interactions between Taka and Kanemaru, and I was wondering, have they ever wrestled each other in a singles match? Do you want to guess how many singles matches they've had?
Well, it sounds like you're setting me up for a big fat zero, but I would think that they would have a few. Zero?
One. And it was 20 years ago, nearly to the day, 20 years ago in Noah. So I think that's something that should be revisited. So I need it. I need a rematch between Taka and Kanemaru. And yeah, so at the end of this match, we had Sho doing the pile driver, I think it was the shock arrow to Doki on the chair to set up their match. But yeah, that was that. Fourth match was Hiromu Takahashi and Yota Tsuji defeating Jeff Cobb and Jacob Austin Young. This was a really good match. Lots of heat, a lot of energy and passion and fire. What stood out to me is Hiromu showing this edge, this sort of spiciness that we've not seen really from him before. And I mentioned it last week. And he's got this new submission move, which is as yet unnamed. He says he's going to ask somebody that he respects to help him come up with a name for it. And Jacob Austin Young's selling of this submission move was great. Like, he really did a lot of good work there to make it look deadly. So well done, Jacob Austin Young, for doing that. And again, those are the little things that I think the value that Jacob Austin Young can bring. At first, I would like to see him shine as he gets more chances within the company, but just little things like that, like, he made that submission look like an absolute killer. So well done for that. And a few people, I've been reading people in different forums saying that submission maneuver looks like something that he might be able to use against Tetsuya Naito. So again, that's not gone away. And he was saying backstage that Hiromu saying that he's got a rotten side, his heart might turn dark and explode. So just sticking a pin in that for now, right? There's no sort of hard evidence about his direction for Wrestle Kingdom, but I feel that his trajectory, Hiromu, might be a bit of a dark turn. Not necessarily like full-blown heel turn, but something where he's showing a darker side to him.
The more and the closer it gets, it does feel like that's the route they're going Wrestle Kingdom-wise. But again, there's all these little seeds that have been dropped and all these little things that have you questioning, and again, him challenging, and the whole Los Ingobernables, I don't want to say strife, but it does feel like they all have, let's put it this way, it doesn't feel like there's a common bond. Feels like it's everyone against the leader at this point. I'm still blown away by the Taka Kanemaru one match. All the years both those guys have been in this fucking business, and how many nonsense independent promotions there have been and shows there have been. Just one singles match. That's crazy to me.
See, this is why we're the best podcast, Damon, because from this nothing Road to show, we're managing to find interesting angles to talk about for all of these matches. Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. How many people, and raise your hands, be honest with yourself. Let's put it this way. I didn't know. The only reason I said 0 is because you set it up to be 0. Because I definitely would have said over 5. Just the math had to align with the amount of years both of them have been in the business.
Yeah, and you would have thought they'd been in the same Best of the Super Juniors block or something at some point, or random Road 2 shows or something. Just one.
Right. Basara putting them on a fucking show in the middle of the, you know what I mean? Just to figure. Hey.
Right, well, anyway, the 5th match was Shota Umino, Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Dick Togo, Yujiro, and Evil. Now, all I've said about having excellent analysis for this match is I got nothing for this one, except for the fact that I'm pretty sure we're heading towards Tanahashi versus Evil. That seems to be the story, the long-term story that's building up here with President versus President. So I'm just sort of filing that away under that match, but I'll move on. The 6th match was... So this is a fun one. We've got Bullet Club, War Dogs team, Drilla Maloney, Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, and Gedo against Intergalactic Jet Setters, so Kevin Knight and Kushida, Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Hirooki Goto, plus Tomoaki Honma. So Honma brought a real who invited by Man Blood, bro thinks he's on the team vibe, tagging alongside Bishamon and Intergalactic Jet Setters. So yeah, this is a good match. Obviously, they're setting up the 2 title matches at King of Pro Wrestling, but I was wondering watching this what Gabe Kidd is going to be doing at Royal Quest, because he's had nothing announced from him so far. And you would imagine that Gabe Kidd would be someone who they want to feature fairly prominently at Royal Quest. So he doesn't have anything at King of Pro Wrestling either. So I'm just throwing this out there now, Damon, so that when we preview King of Pro Wrestling, I think he will be appearing to challenge someone after one of their matches at King of Pro Wrestling to a match at Royal Quest. I don't know which one yet, but when we preview that, we can sort of view that through the lens of when's Gabe coming out.
All right. I just hope somebody drives him to the airport. That's all I care about.
7th match was Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito against Kosei Fujita, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. It was a good match. My takeaway from this was at the end of the match, Naito is sort of slumped in the corner and refusing to make eye contact, and Zack Sabre Jr. is goading him with a trophy. And the thought popped into my head, Damon, if you showed a non-New Japan watcher this match with these 6 wrestlers and asked them to identify who is the world champion, where would Naito rank? How many people would identify Naito? Oh yeah, that's your world champion.
Yeah, good point. He didn't look... I'm trying to kind of go through the fucking pictures in my mind of the match. And you're probably right. He didn't look like... To answer your question, yeah, probably he'd be low on the list, right?
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about his in-ring performance. I'm just talking about the energy he's given off, which Correct. I know is a very sort of abstract and intangible thing. But, you got Zack Sabre Jr. with his trophy, just brimming with confidence. Oiwa with his return, looking like this big sort of mountain of muscle with his beefy chest and his mullet haircut. Cocky Fujita with his his punk look, and he's all confident as well. And Shingo's never champion, doing Shingo things. And then there's Naito, who just even Bushi, like, and just Naito just looks like a beaten dog. That's the energy he's giving off at the moment.
Do you think that's to get people off the scent?
I don't know. Is this a guy who knows that he's losing the title in less than a week and that's him doing a boo-boo face? I don't know. I think I wouldn't have expected that from Naito. Maybe this is a great narrative thing where he's just going to be approaching his lowest ebb, and then that could be a vehicle for Hiromu to be the one who's going to finally put him out of his misery at Wrestle Kingdom. Because again, I think in my headcanon, if I've got the book, then it's a Naito Hiromu retirement match where if Naito loses, then he retires. That and again, that to me would fit into the narrative what they're trying to do with Hiromu at the moment, showing him this dark side. Because again, if that's the way it's set up, then people will, you wouldn't want wacky, bubbly, crazy, oh look, here's Daryl the stuffed cat Hiromu. It would fit for him to have this dark age to be like, look, this guy is my big brother, my hero, my mentor, but now I need to take him out because he's dragging us down. He can't do it anymore. I'm doing him a favor, but you're not going to love me for it. I'm the hero you need, not the one you deserve, or whatever that phrase is. But yeah, just interesting vibes emanating from Naito, and I suppose we may have more answers for that after King of Pro Wrestling. Another little takeaway here: Kosei Fujita and Ishimori had a little face-off. So I don't know if that's something that's going to be a singles thing or leading into Super Junior Tag League, but that was that.
I want to touch on the Naito stuff for just 1 second. If they said that this was if Naito loses, he's retiring, I kind of feel like that is an absolute giveaway to the fact that he's not losing. Whereas if they just had a singles match, I feel like there's a lot more chance of Hiromu getting the win. I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I don't think Naito's retiring. I don't think but I think he might be, and again, nothing verified at this point, so please take this with the grain of salt. I just feel like he just needs and wants time off. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be in the spotlight. Can be, doesn't have to be on shows. Just to kind of fucking rest and then reevaluate. And then, like I said, after that's all said and done, we can say, hey, how you feeling? And if it's thumbs down, then we can build toward some type of retirement match, right? But if they go in and just say regular singles match, I feel like Hiromu's winning it. And I could be naive in thinking that, but I just think if they did announce a step of him retiring, I think there's no shot of Hiromu winning. Right,
so more intrigue by having less at stake.
I think so. I really do think so. Because here's the thing, then they book themselves into a corner, right? Okay, it's either he's retiring or he's not. And we don't want him to retire because of all the things we talked about in the last show, that he still makes the company a boatload of fucking money. He does. We can't deny that. And I don't think anybody is. The issue is that physically, does he need a break? And I'm in the corner of yes, he does, because I'd rather him sit out January, February, March, heal up, get better, see where you stand, because I'd rather have Naito at 90% than Naito at 62%, but still has the charisma to draw people in. To me, I'd rather have you at 90. And who gives a fuck about January, February, March? You know what I mean?
Well, that would be the thing. Like, it's the company that have ridden this poor guy into the dirt. That's why he's in the state he's in, because they've been leaning on him so hard since COVID, basically.
Yeah, he really has been. Like, if anybody deserves a little something extra in their envelope, like, he deserves it, because he's running on an empty fucking tank. And there's, like, to me, more than Okada, more than Tanahashi, more than Shinsuke, even more than Ibushi, to be quite honest with you. Like, he's a guy that I worry about physically because he's a guy that just has done so fucking much. And I use the term, the credit card bill is due, with interest. And like, I would love to just see him just take off. I don't think if they do things properly, we might not need him for 3 months. Like, he could take some time off and recuperate, and then we can reevaluate.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Get the facts. For your free timeshare exit info kit, go to iCancelTimeshare.com. That's iCancelTimeshare.com. iCancelTimeshare.com.
I know this is extremely premature, but you listing off those names made me think that when the curtain is closed on the New Japan career of Tetsuya Naito, I don't think he's ever going to get the love and respect that he deserves, because for me, he would be right up there, just second to Tanahashi in terms of value to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I don't think he gets it now. I don't think he's gotten it, period. Like, there have been little bits and pieces of it, but to me, he's probably the number one guy that has, I don't want to say has gotten the shaft, but I feel like we can count countless times of him getting a taste of the title and then losing, and then getting it back and losing, and then, the constant crawling and give me my moment and give me the fucking salute in the ring and the whole fucking, like, it's like, this is like more than 5. I mean, him going to Mexico and coming back with this fucking gimmick because his original, Tanahashi light, if you will, didn't fucking resonate, and then he had to reinvent himself. Like, name me another fucking guy that's had to go through the hills and the mountains that Naito's had, and at every turn he's overcome it, and he's made it work, and he's made the company a lot of fucking money, and
I think Okada owes him a lot as well. I'm just thinking that Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yep. I think
Okada's given plenty to Naito in return.
Yeah.
Big Wrestle Kingdom 14 and the G1 Climax final last year. Like, I'm not saying this is a take relationship, but I think it's probably more mutually beneficial, more symbiotic than people would like to acknowledge.
1,000%.
Without Naito, is Okada the guy that he is now?
I mean, without Los Ingo, like, the whole idea and the concept of it, like there was a time and a place where that guy was arguably the most popular guy in the company, and and off of that, like, it's not like that was just like one fleeting glimmer of a shooting star. Like, I feel like there have been countless opportunities for this company to really just go all in on him, and they never have. And what he's been able to accomplish has largely been on him. And like, okay, here's a perfect example, like the Hall of Fame discussion. Again, take it for what it's worth. If you are a Hall of Fame kind of guy, great. If you're not, then fucking fast forward. But like, I just remember those conversations about him in the Hall of Fame, and is he worthy, and where does he rank with all of those other guys in New Japan? And it just seems like there are a few people that would fucking lead the army for him to be an all-time great in New Japan. And I feel like those people you can count on one fucking hand. You, John Carroll, like, I'm just thinking of the most boisterous. It's not like if we were to take the Tanahashi greatest New Japan Pro Wrestler, Okada greatest New Japan Pro Wrestler, I don't know if Okada would be uttered in the same breath with a lot of people, which I think is disgusting. Because you're right, for a time period when any pro wrestling was struggling, he was counted on. And before that, and after that. And it might just be me. I mean, the guy did win G1s, multiple. The guy has had the fucking big boy belt. He's had the secondary belt. I don't know if the general consensus of New Japan Pro Wrestling fans would put him in the same realm of Tanahashi and Okada. I don't think they would. And I think that's a mistake.
Let's move on to the main event of this show, which was Jun Akiyama and Yuji Nagata defeating Atsushi Kotoge and Go Shiozaki in 90 minutes 44 seconds. So Nagata pinned Go Shiozaki after the backdrop hold. Damon, what do you think of this one?
Well, one, I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. And here's the thing. All of those guys probably saw their peak very early 2000s, right? Maybe a little bit more. But 2000s. The one thing that stuck out to me is I don't even know how I would work this. There is modern pro wrestling, and then there's like this. I don't want to say old school. I don't want to say less is more pro wrestling, but less is more. These guys are physically not going to be able to do what many consider great pro wrestling in 2024. Yet, like, I would trust every one of those guys in the ring for that proverbial tap on the shoulder. I really would. By no means was this the greatest match in the fucking free world. But there was a little bit, and I hope people saw this match, because like it firmly put me in the corner of and it kind of opened my eyes to less is more. Hard hitting, solid, snug pro wrestling that didn't give you a ton when it came to things that are going to make you jump out of your chair. But I think we need to appreciate the fact that these guys in this main event put on a match that is not going to get a ton of love. It's not going to get a ton of eyeballs. But I feel like this was a masterclass in less is more. Thoughts?
I just enjoy having that annual moment to celebrate Yuji Nagata. And he's getting older. He's even sort of year on year, you can see him noticeably slowing down, but just being like, what a cool dude this guy was. A guy who wasn't really appreciated when he was in his prime. So the more we can celebrate him, even if it's just once or twice a year, to me, that's always something that I'm going to savor and appreciate.
And even like Jun Akiyama and Shiozaki, like these are guys that are like just mainstays and people that you would go out of your way to watch in the 2000s. And Yuji as well, and all of them. But like I don't know, maybe it was the nostalgia itch that got scratched, but I just really appreciated the fact that they were able to go out there and, I mean, what's Yuji Nagata? 55, 56, maybe even older. Yeah, but that's saying something. And what it is a knowledge and a history and a been there, done that, and I know what I need to do. That's not going to put me fucking in traction for 3 days, but at the same time deliver a quality pro wrestling match. Like that I appreciated the most.
I'm going to dig out a very old question from Daryl. It says, who is the dad most likely to hang up the boots next? Or perhaps more importantly, who is overdue to retire? I thought Tenzan was going to retire years ago.
Me too.
The fact that he's still going and Nagata is still going, I would imagine it will be one of those two next.
Tenzan, I mean, basically his fucking ankle is fused, and probably should not be anywhere near a pro wrestling ring, let alone inside of one. I think Kojima still has fucking stuff in the tank.
Oh yeah, plenty left.
Yeah, Nagata still has stuff in the tank. Who's the next one to go? I would honestly, I would, and it's not like he's a focal point in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but like to me, every time I see Honma, I'm like, oof. Not oof of he's awful, more of oof he shouldn't be fucking doing what he's doing. Like I'm like eventually once like I said before, the credit card bills are going to come in, and like he's probably number one on my list of a guy who let's hang up the boots.
Let's take a look at the card for King of Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
Which will be taking place this Monday, October 14th at Ryogoku Sumo Hall. From what we're hearing, the ticket sales are looking very good, very healthy. So, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the setup is and if the number will come close to when they used to have 4 people to a box. I don't think they're doing 4 to the box anymore, but by all accounts, it's looking like it's going to be a good number. And yeah, New Japan in quite a little purple patch at the moment in terms of ticket sales, and probably in no small part due to Mr. Naito, as we've discussed earlier. And I think sort of top to bottom, before we get into the actual matches themselves, it's a really well-crafted card, and that will come out as we discuss. And what I mean is, usually at this point in the year for a King of Pro Wrestling or equivalent show, you know who's going to win the matches because you know what the Wrestle Kingdom programs are going to be, and a lot of the title defenses is just filler. There's, you know if it's Ishii challenging for the briefcase or Evil challenging for the title, they're not going to be main eventing Wrestle Kingdom, so you can hand wave it. But here, I think they've done a really great job in having a lot of matches with high stakes here that not only have, I would say, sort of equally likely outcomes, but also equally desirable ones. I think a lot of these matches, as we go through, you can make the case for either outcome being interesting and creatively satisfying. So I think we should applaud New Japan for very good booking in that sense.
Agreed. 1,000%. 7 title matches. 7. That's pretty amazing. Like there are stakes in just about every match, and not for nothing, that's Wrestle Kingdom-esque. You know what I mean? Like we got the juniors tag titles, we got the heavyweight tag titles, we've got the Never, we've got the junior heavyweight championship being defended, the global, and the world. Like every fucking match has stakes. And okay, so we can argue one of them is a throwaway. I mean, we got to take a piss sometime, right? With that 6-man tag match with Tanahashi, Umino, and El Phantasmo against House of Torture. But we're also opening the fucking show with Hiromu versus Mystico. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. We're opening with this. So, look, your mileage may vary with some of these matches, and I'm looking at the fucking tag championship match, but this show, here's what I love. The show is, again, every match means something. Every match has some type of stakes, and if not, it's just a fucking interesting match. And there's a buzz, and there's a feeling of, okay, I can't wait for this show. And I'm going to stay up for this show or wake up early for this show because I can't be spoiled. I need to see it live. Like that. Like aside from Wrestle Kingdom, I can't really give you a time when I got randoms texting me saying, "Oh, what do you think of this fucking show?" Yeah, fucking great. maybe you want to hop on board and get in on this show. Because to me, this has the makings and the markings of show of the year. Like potentially on paper, this could fucking deliver high marks for us. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think, they didn't, and here's the thing too, they didn't shoehorn shit in. It doesn't feel like, it's not like they just needed to fucking get a Rambo in here just to get people on a goddamn show. They made wise decisions, kept it to 9 matches, minus the pre-show if there's anything there. This is a stacked show. I'm fucking pumped. I am pumped for this show.
Very much agree. I mean, I don't these days get the luxury of being able to sit down and watch a show live and uninterrupted, but this is one where I don't want the kids running around while I'm watching this. I want to sit down and give it my full attention. So I might have to eschew the live experience and save it to the evening. No distractions, kids asleep, sit down, locked in, and enjoy it, because I think this is a show that has been crafted to be appreciated to completion rather than sort of picking and choosing.
1,000%. And I'll give you exactly what my plan is. Go to bed, wake up, pop it on. No phone, no nothing. Nope. I'm not even going to piss. Not because I'm going to be tempted to hop on my phone. Mm. Literally, eyes open, TV on. That's got to be it. Because, yeah, I don't want to be spoiled. Here's the thing. To me, this is such an important moment in New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially after all that we have gone through. Like, this is a pivotal fucking moment. Whatever way we go, and just like you said, there's so many great, interesting options that are on the table, and I'm okay with every one of them. And that is a hat tip to their booking. That is a hat tip to having this mapped out the way that they have. Again,
how far we've come. See, look how far we've come from the New Beginning show, where we were like, what the fuck are they doing? We've done none of that. It feels like for the last few weeks, dare I say a couple of months, we've not been having those conversations where we're like, I can't believe they're fucking doing this. This is such an own goal. This is madness. Where now they are doing so much right that I think it's important to step back and say, great job.
Yeah, they deserve a fucking round of applause. And I'm telling you, like, the pro wrestling world, I feel like, needs to wake up. And I think there was a tweet where you were like, you know what? The people who watch this product are getting it and enjoying it, and more great things are yet to come. And the people who aren't and are stuck in 2019 are kind of, what the fuck's going on? Like, if this show isn't a wake-up call to those people, I can't tell you what is. Like, again, aside from the tag team title match, and this is not a knock on Mikey Nichols or Shane Haste in any way, shape, or form. And it's not even a knock on Caveman Ugg. Let's be truthful. It's one person, and it's like, what the fuck? But okay, it's third match. Great. What match is going to be bad? Or what match is going to be even okay? Like, I don't want to sit here and hype myself up and be led to a road of disappointment. But seriously, like, where is the weak link on these nine matches? Again, aside from the tag title match, which, here's the thing, has a chance to be decent enough, right? And it's the third fucking match. And yes, we want grander things, of course. But where's the weak link here, dude? I don't see it.
Well, people will point to House of Torture, but we'll get onto that. Let's get into discussing the matches then. So, first match, special singles match, Hiromu Takahashi against Mystico. And Lucha Blog is asking us, Doki versus Mystico at the Dome, yes or yes? So, we know Mystico doesn't like to job. And I know sort of from the history that he and Hiromu had that there's a fairly good chance that Hiromu wins, and maybe that win sort of catapults him to do something big in the run up to Wrestle Kingdom. But I'm sort of leaning towards here Mystico winning, which serves two purposes. In one, setting him up to face Doki for the junior title somewhere, maybe in the States, maybe in Japan, but then also sending Hiromu further down this dark path where he leads him towards that inevitable clash with Naito. So from a booking perspective, I find this one absolutely fascinating because it's a real coin flip in terms of who wins, but I am leaning more towards Mystico here.
Kind of with you on that. Although, I think the last thing you want to do when you heat up somebody is have them take a pinfall. But I think Mystico winning has more cool possibilities. Like, you would assume Mystico is on board with Wrestle Kingdom and whatever the fuck, the Wrestle Universe, whatever the fuck it is. Like, you would think he's on board. So him getting a win, challenging, who's complaining about that? Fucking not me. And that does throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in your Master Wato fantasy booking. But truth be told, give me Mystico Doki any fucking day of the week. And if you want to put that on a big stage in a dome, even better.
Second match is the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship match with the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida, taking on the champions, Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors. Ninja Mortis says, is Kevin Knight going to get a significant push soon, or is he going to go the way of Carl Frederick? So that is the lens through which I'm examining this match. And I think they were in a three-way, these two teams, that also involved Catch 2-2, and War Dogs were the winner there. So I think just for the sake of freshening things up, whilst I have enjoyed Drilla and Clark as dominant champions, I'm wondering if maybe the junior tag division needs things to be shaken up a bit leading into Super Junior Tag League so we can get a bit of buzz, bit of interest going into it. And also to put some gold around the waist of Kevin Knight, because every time New Japan are not doing something significant with him, I get scared because I think he's brilliant. I've also, on a tangent, enjoyed the backstage stuff with him and Kushida talking English and Kevin Knight teaching English phrases to Kushida. That I found that very endearing. So that worth checking out if you're into that sort of stuff. But yeah, for no other reason than just something new and fresh, I think I'm leaning towards the Jet Setters here.
You know me. I like to look at the entire show, see where there might be title changes. We don't want too many, blah, blah, blah. My biggest fear is that they don't really have a plan for Kevin Knight. And he's here not as a placeholder, that'd be wrong, but more of a really good quality opponent, right? Able to deliver. I would have no problem either way. Now, with Junior Tag League right around the corner, I think that there might be more possibilities and more interesting things if War Dogs were not the champion. I got to be honest with you, I'm 50-50 either way, and I think there's pluses and not many minuses for either way. So I'm going to say Connors and Maloney successfully defend, but I would have zero problem with Intergalactic winning. Because here's the thing, too. I think whatever happens, either one of these two teams, the loser is going to be prominent, right, in Tag League, and the winners and champions are going to defend the titles and lose them in Wrestle Kingdom. That's kind of where I see that going.
The third match is the IWGP Tag Championship match with TMDK, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols defending against Caveman Ugg and Bad Luck Fale. Oh, no, actually, sorry. Before we do that, we had a question from Andrew. It says, with Ishimori bringing in a new partner and Driller looking more comically huge for a junior than ever, is there a possibility of Driller moving up and Clark becoming Bullet Club's junior singles guy? I did wonder about Driller because you remember that he got a win over Naito earlier in the year, and admittedly there were mitigating circumstances to that. It wasn't the cleanest win, but that was a curious thing to do with someone who was positioned as a junior heavyweight. And Andrew does make the good point, as we've talked about before, that Driller Maloney is one of the more absurd junior heavyweight labeled wrestlers that we've had over the years. Like the man is just like exploding with muscle. So I do feel that he is not long for the junior heavyweight sphere. I don't know whether that's going to be something soon, but again, possibly War Dogs losing the titles might free up a bit of space for some movement across the divisions like that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, you might have a solid point. Yeah, he is. He's not a junior. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and he's got a singles match against Tsuji at Royal Quest, doesn't he? So make of that what you will. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Shane Hayes, Mikey Nichols against Caveman Ag and Bad Luck Fale. I'm really interested in this match if viewed through the lens. I keep saying that, but I want to see how much Shane and Mikey give to Caveman Ugg, because I think that's going to be a real tell of what they see as his value. And sort of the relationships between these guys, and seeing Caveman Ugg, is he a guy who is like ride or die with Fale for bringing him in, or is he a guy who is throwing in with his lot with TMDK, and not in a kayfabe sense, but in sort of, more like who's he hanging out with backstage sort of stuff. So I suspect we are going to see TMDK being very generous and working really hard to make Caveman Ugg look like a star. I don't think Caveman Ugg is going to win, but I think that will be the mission for this match, where we can come away from this thinking, okay, TMDK won, but wow, we've got something with Caveman Ugg here. He looked like a real star. He came so close to winning, and I hope we get to see him again in New Japan soon.
Give me a scale of 1 to 10. How likely is it new tag team champions of the Rogue Army?
1. I don't think that's going to happen,
Okay.
But again, I don't think that is the intent for this match. I think this is a late replacement thing. I think this would have been the Mad Bastards had Jake Lee not got injured, but Jake Lee got hurt, so they've pivoted, and so I think there's an opportunity here to elevate Caveman Ugg and also getting a title defense for TMDK.
Would you give me 10 to 1 odds? I put down $1.
No.
You give me 10.
No, again, I don't think the outcome of this match is where my personal interest lies.
Fair. That's fair. I get a strange feeling that they're doing a total change. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't have anything to hang my hat on with this. I feel like they are. We'll see. Am I excited? No. Am I interested in Caveman Ugg to see what they have in him? Yes. Truth be told, I kind of want the titles off of TMDK. Like Joel, I gotta be honest with you, I kind of fucking forget they're the champions.
Yes, yeah, it's been a very forgettable reign, and I don't think that's necessarily their fault.
No.
I mean, they've been given very little on these big shows for us to get excited about. But yeah, I've said before, I think the long-term direction for the tag titles come Wrestle Kingdom season is going to be Bishamon and Mad Bastards, and unfortunately, yeah, there's no juice, there's no buzz around TMDK.
No, unfortunately not. So I'm going to go with a title change just to fucking, I'll play the odds. I'll say title change.
Fourth match, never open weight championship match. Shingo Takagi defending against Ryohei Oiwa. Mac19 says the match I'm looking forward to the most is Shingo versus Oiwa. This can potentially steal the show and catapult Oiwa to the top of the card. I think he's one half of the main event at Wrestle Kingdom 20, so that would be not this Wrestle Kingdom, the Wrestle Kingdom after that. Are my expectations too high or right where they should be? It's a bold claim. And again, this is one of those things where I would like to say yes, but I fear that I'm projecting all my hopes, unrealistic hopes, on a young, relatively inexperienced wrestler who's still got a lot to learn. So I think we need to manage our expectations and give him that room to grow and be prepared to see those weaknesses and those gaps and those things that he needs to fix and get better at. But wouldn't it be fucking exciting if he just beat Shingo here? Now, again, this is what I'm saying about these outcomes being win-win, because Shingo wins, then I'm thinking, well, one, we get more Shingo never title defenses, which don't miss.
Right.
And two, if he's holding that belt going into Wrestle Kingdom, his track record at Wrestle Kingdom with that belt is not to be sniffed at, because I'm just thinking of the matches he's had with Jeff Cobb. Even the match he had with Tama Tonga was fucking outstanding.
Right.
So whilst it's not the most exciting and fresh option, if he is going into Wrestle Kingdom holding that never title, defending it against whoever, yeah, you know you're going to have a good time.
Yep.
So there's that. Let's file that way. But if they got the balls to put that belt on Oiwa, which I think they should, just because it will be cool and exciting, then we're cooking.
We're cooking. I'm with you. I'm with you 1,000%. My only hesitation is that in spots like this, New Japan is pretty notorious for having that guy lose, right? Now,
yeah, it's classic New Japan booking trope, isn't it? Have a returning young lion challenge a big singles guy either for a title or non-title and
eat the
come
loss.
up short.
Yep.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm here for the fucking energy, man. I'm here for the excitement. I'm here for the let's fucking go. All the above. Like, this is a win-win scenario to me. Truth be told, I would love to see a title change. And it doesn't have to be like this fucking squasheroo. And I don't want it to be. Like, I want it to be a contest. Maybe this is just my Western mind fucking getting away with me with the pro wrestling. But like, to me, if we're serious and we want to make a fucking guy a guy, let's go. Let's do it. And you could still have Shingo in the mix. Like, Shingo doesn't lose a drop if he does lose. And Oiwa has a lot to gain, let's be honest. And momentum is on his side. And if we want to continue that, boy, wouldn't the smart thing would be, him winning and him having that title. And then him working with a lot of different guys with that title. Like, talk about learn on the job as quickly as you can. Like, that title is tailor-made for that to me. I think Shingo wins, though, because it's New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's what they do.
Yes, I think I agree with you. All right, fifth match then is the NJPW World TV Championship match. Three-way between Jeff Cobb, Yota Tsuji, and Ren Narita.
Well, show of hands. How many people were like, yep, let's make this a fucking three-way, and let's put in Ren?
Well, I will say this, right? In defense of Ren thing, and I apologize if I'm stepping on the toes of the WeWork Stiff Boys, because this is the sort of thing that they would say. But Ren does have history with that title, because you remember, was it this time last year or the year before that? I can't even remember when it was, when they had that, they'd introduced the TV title and the big tournament for it, and Ren had just returned, and everyone's like, oh, this is the Ren title. They're going to elevate him. He's in the final. He had really impressive matches with Ishii and Sanada, went into Wrestle Kingdom. A lot of people thought he was going to beat Zack and hold that title, because the mission statement for that title was this is going to be the young guy's title, and then he lost. So there is that narrative hook where he can be like, this is the title. This was supposed to be my title, and I got fucked over for it. No, I'm taking it back the only way that I know how. I'm going to do it in my shit housing way and fuck the rest of you. So just to play devil's advocate, there is that narrative hook to it. Whether or not that's what you want to see is a different question entirely. I think I'd rather just keep the title on Jeff Cobb, because him having that at Wrestle Kingdom and having a sub 15-minute banger would be cool. And I like cool wrestling.
With you 1,000%. I don't know. I feel like Yota Tsuji's had a lot of opportunity, and I don't want him to be put in the folder of guys who have had multiple chances and haven't come up. See Hirooki Goto, you know. So I'm kind of looking for that title change. I don't think anybody's sitting here pining for Ren Narita to win this. And I think what Ren does is it gives a good opportunity for guys to somewhat be protected, right? I don't think there's any harm in Ren taking the loss here, looking at the lights. This is not a situation where the champion has to be pinned, correct?
That is correct. So the stipulation is the match will be contested between 3 wrestlers simultaneously and shall be decided with the first pinfall. So
there you go.
Again, I'm wondering why it's a 3-way, and my initial reaction to that is it's to protect someone.
Right. So I'm going to say title change. I'm going to say Yota Tsuji picks up the win, and I'm going to say Ren takes the fall, and I think everyone would be happy with that. And I like the idea of a television championship around Yota Tsuji. Once again, great opportunity to sit under the learning tree, if you will, hold the title, get some wins, get some momentum. I think it's a perfect shot for him. I like it. And again, Jeff Cobb, we can do great things with as well. Later on, we don't want to just throw him in the bin, because I think he's incredibly talented. But yeah, I think like it seems so obvious that I feel like they're trying to once again get us off the scent, and that like Ren's walking out with this fucking title. Like, I don't think anybody's sitting here and like, yeah, that'd be fucking awesome. Like, I think of all the options that are on the table, that might be the least desirable. But what has me worried is that it is set up for Ren to lose a fall, and they don't do it, and just to get us off the scent.
Yeah, I think it's equally likely that Ren just wins this title. But again, I'm just going to ride with my agenda that I want Jeff Cobb to have a singles match at Wrestle Kingdom. And I think the TV title is a really good fit for him. So I hope that he keeps it, even though that's not necessarily my prediction. But there you go. 6th match is the Hiroshi Tanahashi 25th anniversary match with El Phantasmo, Shota Umino, and Hiroshi Tanahashi against Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil. So I said before, I think we're sort of heading towards a Tanahashi versus Evil decisive singles match, president versus president, possibly at Wrestle Kingdom. And I'm looking at El Phantasmo and Shota Umino, or as they've been unkindly labelled on the Discord, pisser and shitter, and wondering if this is a way to solidify them as a tag team going into World Tag League, because I could see that being a thing. ELP and Shota.
Could you see Hiroshi Tanahashi and Shota
in World Tag League?
Yep,
possibly. Yeah,
possibly. Right. The one thing that kind of
I don't know if that necessarily helps Shota by putting him with someone who's more charismatic and beloved than him,
and probably better than him right now.
Yeah,
probably not. But I don't know. I mean, I think we can go either way with that. The one thing that does stick out to me, though, one is that idea of Evil and Tanahashi, good versus evil, pardon the pun, but also the fact that this is his 25th anniversary match and the participants that are in it, right? Again, we can make an argument to say, okay, this is a build for Evil and Tanahashi, and maybe by proxy, Shota and El Phantasmo as a tag team. But I find it very interesting in the sense that, like, if you were going to sit here and map out a 25th anniversary match for Hiroshi Tanahashi, I don't think. I mean, seriously, the names that you rattled off, I would not have guessed would have been in it, truth be told. So I think that's saying something. I think that's saying something in the sense of maybe there's renewed interest in El Phantasmo. I think there's always going to be interest in Shota. Yujiro is a guy who could take a fucking fall. And Kanemaru is a fucking steady hand. And Evil's, we got arguably the biggest heel in the company. So while this might seem like a match that, take time to take a piss, time to make yourself a sandwich, time to go whatever the fuck you do, I would not sleep on this because I think of all these matches, this one might have ramifications that go on to the end of the year. I'm not saying it's going to be great. I'm just saying if you're into continuing and understanding storylines, this one might not be one that you want to just fast forward through.
7th match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Doki defending against Sho. And as I said, I think Doki against Mystico would be a very cool and fun direction of a future title defense. So that makes it extremely likely in my eyes that Sho just bullshits his way to a win and has another title run here. Now, he has had one earlier in the year, which, hopefully makes the booking team feel that they've had their fill with him and that this is just a filler title defense. But it does make me a bit nervous. The more Doki is racking up these successful defenses against relatively big names, I just wonder, when are the wheels going to come off?
I will be truthful and say that I have those same concerns. I'm gonna put all of my chips on Doki though, and with the idea of a successful defense. I truly feel like of all the juniors that we can dispose of in a somewhat placeholder title defense, like Sho might be my guy. So fingers crossed. And I will say this once again, that there are a lot of opportunities for titles to change hands here. Again, we have a lot of titles on the line here. So somebody's got to successfully defend, right? And to me, the idea of Doki retaining and hopefully, fingers crossed. We have some challengers that are a little bit more interesting, a little bit more spicy, bring a little bit more to the table. To me, it feels like this is a placeholder. I might be eating my words come next week, but I'm going to say successful title defense.
8th match, IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship match. Hirooki Goto challenging David Finlay. So we've got all the narratives baked into this with Finlay having taken out Bishamon partner, Yoshihashi, and now he's got to face Goto. And this just on paper looks like my kind of shit. I can sort of see the stylistic matchup with them, doing their big, heavy power moves and backbreakers on each other and elbowing and kneeing the shit out of each other. And it looking very painful and nasty, and I'm going to be really into it. And David Finlay, I think, has been excellent this year. And I think the global belt is a really good fit for him. And I think it makes all the sense in the world for him to continue holding that into Wrestle Kingdom. Maybe defending against someone like Yota Tsuji, because I think they've had really good chemistry this year. However,
go ahead.
All the backstage chatter has been Finlay telling Goto to bring his kids ringside. And Goto saying, I will bring my kids ringside. Throwing that into the mix.
Dad energy.
Non-zero chance that dad energy pulls through for Goto. And I don't know. Are they going to make him eat shit in front of his kids? I can see, and again, this on paper might look like a Philly defense, and you might think, Goto's got Bishamon stuff, his tag stuff is in his future. But wouldn't it be cool if he won? Yes. Wouldn't it be cool for him to have a big match at Wrestle Kingdom? We're not going to have too many years left with Goto
No.
being able to perform at this level.
Nope.
He's been brilliant this year. He's come out of nowhere, outstanding G1. He's got all that momentum and goodwill and buzz, and the fans are behind him. And again, this is what I'm talking about when I said we've got a lot of win-win scenarios here. I think Finlay could eat the loss here and be okay, go away, lick his wounds, and come back maybe in the world title picture. But again, I'm putting on my clown makeup and thinking, let's go, Daddy.
Let's go, Daddy. Let's go, Daddy.
Right, so we've got some questions in. Mac19 says, I think Goto beats Finlay. He deserves a run with a white belt, and I'm expecting this to be a damn good match. Do you see Goto being featured a little more prominently at Wrestle Kingdom this year? Roa says, I enjoyed David Finlay's work as a character and performer and think he's one of the best finishing sequence wrestlers today. Do you guys think he's on an IWGP World Heavyweight title win is in his future? So, Damon, thoughts, please.
I'm here for the dad energy, man. Like, so I don't know how it came into my head, but the idea. Here's the thing. All Hirooki Goto has to do is get a really good match, right? All he has to do is put on a really good match. And again, David Finlay, I think, is a comparable pro wrestler to make that happen. So let's just say Hirooki Goto has let's just say very good to scraping great. I think that puts him in unsung hero lock. And I feel like he's going to get votes for Wrestler of the Year. Guarantee it. And rightfully so. Is he going to win it? Probably not. But he'll get votes. Because what a fucking unbelievable little mini run he's had. And again, we talked about it last show, how the tag titles, the Never, 6-man, the G1 this year, just on and on. If New Japan had any guts, they would do it. And I'm calling them out right now. I want New Japan to have the guts to do this. Because here's the thing. David Finlay's not going to get hurt if he loses. He's not going to lose any steam, any momentum, anything. And the moment Goto gets that fucking pin, and he's there with his kids, and he has the belt, give me a better fucking moment in New Japan this year. Like, it's going to be tough to beat. I'm here for it. I want it. I'm all in for it. Your new global heavyweight champion, Hirooki Goto. Let's fucking get on board.
Main event, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Tetsuya Naito defending against Zack Sabre Jr.
Go ahead.
Let me do the questions. Lewis says, if ZSJ doesn't win the IWGP Heavyweight title here, will it be a huge miss where a G1 Climax winner title opportunity isn't part of the main event at Wrestle Kingdom? Mac19 says, Zack's winning, he has to, but after listening to last week's pod, I'm fine with Okada at the Dome, but just for this year, I agree that the young guys have to be featured, but no one's ready to step into that spot. If Okada doesn't do it, I'd gladly take a Takeshita match. Rene Esker says, I know this will be brought up in predictions, but with recent attendance numbers, the ready-made LIJ story with big developments brewing and Naito generally not having awful performances, do you think he retains? I'm not as sure as a Zack went as I was 2 weeks ago. I don't know, Damon. I'm really 50-50 at this point. If you'd asked me a month ago, I would have said locked in Zack Sabre Jr. Again, I think if he rocks up to Royal Quest next weekend without that belt, then he's going to look like an absolute twat. And I will probably boo him for all the been giving it large, talking about how the next time we see him, he's going to be champion, blah, blah, blah. He is going to look like an absolute twat if he does not win this match. I think it's the right time for him to win. I think he's been brilliant this year. I think he's the right guy at the right moment to take that ball and run with it and then have a run as a dominant champion and then put over the next guy, maybe one of the young guys, maybe Yota Tsuji eventually. That would make sense to me. That would be creatively satisfying. I can't make sense of the Wrestle Kingdom main event. I can't think of a guy who he could defend against. But if we do have Naito and Hiromu underneath, then we could be playing with house money. You know, that's a really good opportunity to use that, have Zack in the main event defending against someone, I don't know who, to elevate them and do something exciting and new and fresh there. But with Naito drawing as he is doing, I just think there was going to be that temptation there of having him main event the Tokyo Dome again. And I think it would be almost unprecedented for them to run the Tokyo Dome main event with two guys who've never been in the Tokyo Dome main event before. I can't recall the last time that's happened. So there are a lot of question marks circling this one. However, I think it is the right time for Naito to lose. I think it's the right time for Zack to become champion. So I'm going to silence all those little doubtful voices and say Zack Sabre Jr. will be our new world champion.
What a time to be alive, right? This is why we watch. This is why we listen to this dopey podcast. This is why we do this dopey podcast, because of moments like this where you don't know. And either option is makes sense, and either option has pluses and very little minuses. Let's be truthful. It's got people excited. It's got people talking. There's a buzz. There's a general feeling of I can't miss this fucking match. The stakes are as high as it gets. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like the stakes are super important. My heart says Zack. My pro wrestling wants says Zack. And even there is a big part of my dopey brain that says it makes sense to have him win. Like, why not? It's time for change. It doesn't hurt anyone to have anybody lose. Going into Royal Quest, again, tickets are sold by and large. But to have him come home with that title would be, I think, a real special moment. I think him winning would be a real special moment. The other side of the coin is this. All the things that we talked about, and all the things from a business perspective, and all the things of what Naito means to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and dare I say the easier path might be him successfully defending the title. I think that would be foolhardy. And I don't want to throw away any residual value of Naito being a champion. Naito doesn't need to be a champion. In fact, he's probably better without the title. His best programs and his best moments have been the chase. You can give the title to Zack. I think Zack has enough cred that if he did win, people would be like, good work. It makes sense. I can see this. I'm into this. And the idea of him defending at Wrestle Kingdom, I feel like can happen. And it wouldn't be out of place. And I don't think Naito needs to have the title to have a match with Hiromu. If, in fact, that's the path that we're taking. I want it. I want to see it. I will be there cheering for it. I will be rooting for that to happen. I would be upset for maybe 5 seconds after the fucking shoulders are counted for a 3 count. But I would be okay with it. But the time is now. The energy is there. It's for the taking. I think there's a lot of people that want it. And I even think that a lot of Naito fans are kind of like, yep, I'd be okay with it. I'm all right with it. Zack's winning the title. Zack is your new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I'll probably be eating my words come next podcast, but I'm all in. My chips are in. He's bringing it home. You're going to go to a show, and you're going to see the world champion, Zack Sabre Jr. I think the match will be great. And if they had any guts, they'd do it. Now, there's a lot of title changes that I'm predicting, which has me a tiny bit worried.
You predicted all of the titles to change.
No.
Happen.
I predicted David Finlay.
Doki, you said.
Doki successful. Jeff Cobb loses. I did say Shingo. I said Shingo will win. Shingo will win. I did say there would be a tag title, and did I say Bullet Club wins too?
You might have done. That feels like it was about 3 hours ago.
Yeah, rewind it. Zack wins. It's coming home. Let's fucking go.
A question here from Matt says, is there a Royal Quest meet-up on the cards? There is. I'll sort something out nearer the time, but yeah, I'll figure something out. But okay, I just want to finish with one question here, which it made me laugh a lot when I checked the account it came from. So this is from Factory Direct. Okay, let me read the question first. So the question is, what are the odds the January 4th title match is a Sanada rematch if Naito retains? Shingo is occupied, and it would seem rushed if Tsuji turned with little time for a proper build, and there's not a natural big match outside of Hiromu. Also, would you like to buy a boat or RV? And this comes from Factory Direct Marine and RV, sales, parts and service. The place to find your dream bow rider, center console, pontoon, travel trailer, fifth wheel or motorhome. FactoryDirectMarine.com. I've never had that before. That's the first. Someone asking a question about the Wrestle Kingdom main event and also an unsolicited offer of buying a boat or an RV.
Fantastic. That is great. I'm sure that person has analytics tied to their website. What is the URL where I can find them again, please, Joel?
FactoryDirectMarine.com.
FactoryDirectMarine.com. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there it is. Nice little website there. They have Factory Direct Marine and RV. New and used RV and boat sales. They do have a lot. Fifth wheels. They got some motorhomes.
I'm just going through all of his tweets, like the replies, and so it's all stuff sort of promoting RVs and boats, like all business, and then there's just a reply to the Super J Cast there asking about the Sanada rematch.
Well, listen, I'm not an expert in RVs or anything, but if you live in Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, or Indiana, I would, and you're into RVs, I would definitely go to Factory Direct Marine and RV.com, or just FactoryDirectMarine.com for all of it. You can rent them, you can boats, and it looks like a nice little website. Look at that. You can trade in your own. Yeah. Looking good. All right. See, look at that. See, we're friendly. We'll help you out. Again, if you're in Indiana, if you're in Florida, I got to be honest with you. If you're in Florida right now, you got fucking bigger fish to fry. I don't know if you know about this fucking hurricane, dude. This thing is a fucking beast. And it is coming in on Tampa like a fucking missile. Category 5, Joel. Category 5. That means sustained winds, 130 miles per hour. They have tornado warnings all throughout the state. It's really a fucking mess. And they're going to get fucking storm surge, like 15 feet. Phew, fucking nightmare. So if you're listening in Florida, be safe. But it sounds like you need a boat. So Factory Direct Marine and RV is where you want to fucking hit up. What was the question they had? I'm sorry.
Sanada rematch if Naito retains.
God, no, please.
No.
Yeah. But what's scary is he's not on the show. He's not on this show.
Well, he's facing Zack at Royal Quest, isn't he? So
I understand. He's not on this show.
Little title challenge in there.
But okay, so that might be a good thing in the sense of Zack wins. Sanada's got to show up and point the finger and point at the belt and point at his cock and all that stuff, right? Zack's winning. Doesn't that tell you Zack's winning? That's the perfect opportunity for Sanada to just show up and do the whole fucking, all right, I challenge you bullshit, right?
Yeah, I mentioned Gabe Kidd earlier, who's not got anything for Royal Quest, which makes me think he is going to be involved with someone here. Like, he could be challenging the Never title, or maybe someone who loses one of these title matches is going to face him for the Strong title. Naito's not been announced for Royal Quest. What if the main event of Royal Quest is Naito defending his freshly defended world title against Gabe Kidd?
I don't have a problem with it in the sense of I think it'll be good, but look, I think everyone has their heart set on a certain path. How about Hirooki Goto?
They just wrestled each other, didn't they?
Did they? Yes, they did. I'm just saying.
I'd be up for a rematch. They could do that.
Listen, stranger things have happened, right? I'd be happy with that. Yes. So the Sonata idea really fucking
no thanks.
No and no. But I would not be surprised if his ultra sexy ass hops in that fucking ring and challenges, makes it official, shall we say, for Zack at Royal Quest.
All right, well, that's the end of the podcast. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast if you want to donate money to us. www.factorydirectmarine.com for RV sales, part service, boats, all of that. Cobra Kawaii, prowrestlingtees.com/super-j-cast for t-shirts, and Factory Direct Marine and RV for all your boat and RV needs. Big thanks to editor Dan. He's on Twitter at LousyHero219 and at FDMRV are on Twitter. That's Factory Direct Marine and RV's Twitter account. They are our unofficial podcasts, joint corporate sponsorship partners for the RV sales and boats. Follow us on Twitter at the Super J-Cast. Follow them on Twitter at FDMRV. Thank you everybody for listening. Go and buy yourself a boat and or an RV, and goodbye.
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. I'll do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat. You won't go down cause my dick can float.
We sail around the world and go port to port. Every time I come, I produce a quart.
Put on your life vest, let's drop anchor. There's a nice lady who I like to swank her.
Boats and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes. Boats and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.
Deadliest catch without the crabs. We're almost out of gas, called the Arab.
I'm a pussy pirate, my name is Jack Sparrow.
Hey kids, do you like wrestling? Well, we like wrestling too. We are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Myself and Chris Novembrino kind of doing a lazy river of wrestling criticism, going through the news and whatever happened in stateside television wrestling. And also, you know what? Sometimes we just like to watch old stuff and talk about that too. Love for you to give us a listen. If you haven't already, we are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.